Hello and welcome once again to Merlin's channel. You know, not too long ago, the world of entertainment was uplifted by a certain AMC drama. Yes, if you've seen the title of this video, you know I am of course referring to Breaking Bad, the crime drama following the chemistry teacher Walter White, who starts a meth empire after discovering he has terminal lung cancer. Now, since my channel is centralized on character analysis, I thought it might be interesting to take a look into what made this show so popular. Now, I do believe that the performances, most notably from Bryan Cranston, were gritty and realistic while still being compelling and romanticized when needed. The writing was also excellent, going off established templates of HBO series such as The Sopranos and The Wire. However, I believe what drew audiences into the show was primarily the well-executed de-evolution of Walter White from a decent and fairly average citizen to a ruthless crime boss. The show had 6 seasons, so the writers were able to take their time. Really, the most frightening aspect of White is that when we first meet him, we like him, we feel for him. He is not only relatable, with bills and a marriage to think of, but tragic, as he once had a notable chance for fame and fortune in his college years, but took another path by becoming a high school chemistry teacher. He has a wife who seems to constantly berate him, and a son with cerebral palsy who has his own daily struggles. Add in a pregnancy and an obnoxious brother-in-law, Walter has his hands full. The cancer comes at an already stressful time, causing him to have an amplified midlife crisis. He is forced to reflect on his life, which has mostly been at best, as he sees it, a mixed bag. On one hand, he is an educated man forced to take a second job at a car wash and be talked down to by employers and students. On the other hand, he does have a good family, which he truly does treasure. His approaching of Jesse Pinkman was really a last-ditch effort to leave his family for some financial support, partially due to his pride. He would rather break the law than take handouts. This really is the motivation for the first few seasons. Though questionable, for the most part we can understand Walt's plight. However, he grows comfortable and eventually becomes greedy. At first it seems as though he simply wants to leave more for his family, but as we eventually see, it comes to the question, how much is enough? For many people, the first true beginning for Walt's turn to the dark side was in allowing Jesse's first love interest, Jane, to overdose. Now, some could argue that perhaps Walt believed she was beyond help, and he was doing Jesse a favor. Personally, I think this is a weak argument, but it is a possibility. Really, Walt essentially admits that he did it as an act of self-preservation. He needed Jesse as a partner, and was motivated primarily for his own personal agenda. Interestingly, this act leads to so many deaths and significant suffering, indirectly. Jane's father, Q from Star Trek The Next Generation by the way, being an air traffic control person, was so devastated by his daughter's death that his oversight led to a plane crash. Even though Walt knows of the devastation he essentially caused, his grief is mixed at best. Being a scientist, we see the colder, more logical side of his mind, a perception of a universe dictated by laws and rules with a lack of spirituality, or more generally, a basis for morality. As the series progresses, Walter shifts into an angry and controlling man who frightens even those closest to him. For me, the definitive point was when Walter's cancer goes into remission. Even after this point, with all the money he has gained, he continues. He even orders the deaths of other human beings. Towards the very end of the series, Walter admits that he has become tired and angry over his mundane existence, and his grab for power as a meth kingpin was perhaps the truly greatest accomplishment in his life. He takes pride that his product is the best, and truly becomes enshrouded by the Heisenberg persona. For as Heisenberg, he could do something significant. Now, while many people see his admission of being the danger as completely definitive, in truth that's not quite what makes this complicated narrative formula so successful. For many, the ending is very satisfying. Sure, it could have gone a couple different ways and probably still worked. From the most poetic standpoint, though, it fits. Though still despicable in many regards, Walter is not the worst evil out there, as we see throughout the series. He manages to really become isolated from everyone, both literally and figuratively, and does suffer the inevitable consequences of his actions. Still, he owns up to these facts and makes peace with it. He knows the wrongs that he has committed, but still ultimately does the right thing. He makes sure his family is taken care of. In a way, Walt is punished for his actions, but in another way, he is the true victor when the curtains close. White's character is different than most crime drama protagonists, in that he was not deeply rooted in crime to begin with. In the beginning, he is a normal person. Many of us probably would know someone like that in our lives. He may even remind someone of themselves directly. He reminds us of our capacity to do great things and terrible things. Breaking Bad is well shot, acted, and well written, but the crux really is White's transformation and Cranston's portrayal. What caps it off perfectly is the ending, where he doesn't become completely overshadowed by the two-dimensional villain role. He reveals Walter we knew at the beginning, a human being. Whether a great villain, an anti-hero, or a tragic hero, Walter White is a person, and one of the most colossal of TV legends in recent years. Well, that was my discussion on Mr. White. Let me know your thoughts on this, and any requests for more videos are of course welcome. Check out Film Fanatics Podcast for movie reviews, and the Phantom Group for anime-related discussion. Alright everyone, Merlin out. Peace.